Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, citizens of crypto land, I am Ryan from TGO Network, here for another AMA. Very excited about this one. I have got with me the Open Platform team. Say hi, guys.
Hey guys, nice to meet you guys.
4 people here. Another record-setting AMA. So, all right, if you haven't seen any of my AMAs before, I like to read my disclaimer at the start so you guys know what you're getting yourselves into and to give you a little format. So I'll go ahead and do that. This is not financial advice. I'm not a licensed or professional financial advisor. I've not received any compensation in crypto or fiat for this review. Questions can be asked by using the link that you see at the top of the screen, and questions about exchanges will be ignored. Okay, because there's 4 of you, can you guys just quickly each introduce yourself, and then we'll dig right into our normal format.
Awesome. Ryan, can you hear us? There was a little issue with the mic. Okay,
nope,
cool.
You guys sound great.
Oh, sorry?
Sound good.
Awesome. Great. I'll start. I'm Ken, guys. One of the faces on the project at Open. CEO, if you want to call it that. Just been in the space for a whole time. Built a company previously in Toronto, or part of the original Ethereum scene back there. Big avid fan of the space just in general. I can go on about it, but please, guys.
Yeah, so I'm Abhishek. I'm the blockchain lead. I've done work for, part of the faculty in the Blockchain Research Institute. I've done work on the Enigma project. I also do due diligence with the entire Dripper Venture network.
Yeah, so I'm Chase. I've also done faculty work at BRI, some research with Kyber, as well as doing quite a few technical. And I'm a member of Blockchain at Berkeley.
I'm Dustin, full stack developer here at Open, Solidity developer as well. Been building out and releasing some of the recent API stuff. And
okay, I think that's it.
That's good. That's good. That's perfect. Just wanted to get a quick sort of introduction. So, okay, I always like to start off, guys, with asking, give me the elevator pitch. What is Open Platform?
Sure. So essentially, the Open Platform is, think of it as the first kind of payment structure centered around application developers. And simple analogies we like to use to simplify the project is, think of it as you've got wallets on chain that accept cryptocurrencies, but they don't communicate off chain by themselves. This is something that it's a two-way communication layer that would allow it to speak to application backends and application backends to record that data. So in essence, cryptocurrency wallets could be tied directly to a database, etc., so that application developers can build sophisticated applications using blockchain technology, utilizing the things that they're very comfortable with. So their database, their application server, SDKs and APIs. Whereas right now, the kind of standard I would say is very much that you're asking an application developer to learn a language like Solidity, learn the constraints and constructs of blockchain, and develop within smart contracts, whereas this enables them to accept payments and build applications in languages and technology that they're very familiar with. So you can, in essence, appeal to everybody who has an existing application and not exclude them. So meaning that we could build and place this infrastructure for cryptocurrency acceptance for mainstream application developers that already have databases that don't need to build any of this back onto the blockchain, or on-chain is what we call it. And for decentralized application developers, think of it as a full end-to-end solution that allows them to take payments, do authorization, do digital asset verification. That's basically it, but I'm gonna let you guys chime in with some analogies.
Yeah, so I guess the way I like to think about it, this is how I always talk about it. But when you have decentralization, it's pretty difficult to recreate the wheel, all of the centralized infrastructure. So recreating the Uber, recreating the Airbnb, whatnot. And that's not really the way that I believe that we should bring blockchain into the mainstream. The way that you need to bring blockchain into the mainstream is by making it incredibly easy for software application developers who already have centralized applications to integrate with the blockchain. And that's what Open does. We're a blockchain agnostic platform. That really, we act as a layer of abstraction between the developer and all of the blockchain processes, from payments to actual backend changes. So the idea is to make it as easy as possible to integrate with blockchain. Just to get this into the mainstream, I mean, we got to do baby steps to make it a reality.
Agree. I'm always a big fan of the projects that make the crypto sort of move forward, get over that hurdle of adoption, and etc. So that's why I like your guys' project so much. That's why I was excited to have you guys on. So, okay, I know you guys are in a slight time crunch, so we will do our best to condense it a little bit, because I do want to get to the actual questions. Okay, so you guys have already touched on the problem that Open Platform is solving, so we'll move right into the deep dive then. So, gotcha. Right now, you talked about it, the current centralized payment infrastructure and how that can't touch databases, etc. Maybe just kind of expand on that a little bit so people understand where you differentiate.
Pete, do you want to?
Sure. So right now, we have kind of these two types of data structures in the world. We have what blockchain is and what existed before the blockchain, which is decentralized application databases. So because they're so different and the blockchain is so new, there's no protocol that exists for the centralized world to be able to plug in and connect to the information that exists on the decentralized world. So basically, when I pay Ken, that payment data exists on the blockchain. You can see it if you have a node on the ledger. But if you have a database that relies on that information being automatically recorded, that two-way communication just can't exist right now. And so we've developed a way to do that, not only efficiently, but also securely, which is really important.
And just to add to that, like, you can't really, there's a lot of applications and a lot of expectation that you can't have a fully decentralized application. So you're going to have some components that are outside of the blockchain that are off-chain. So if you have a payment solution or you're building infrastructure, it should really encompass this off-chain world and the on-chain world, where you can just have the kind of that syncing between payments that are made on-chain right to a database. That's how you get everyone to use cryptocurrencies. If you make it super simple, if you make it act the way that fiat acts today in the application backend, but if you further actually give them tools to make the blockchain very easy. So what we do is we have a scaffold generator that allows you to deploy your entire payment scheme, whether it's enterprise, it's consumer, it's gaming, it's virtual currency, it's pay-per-play, or it's subscription-based, and you can basically deploy that entire technology using a open scaffold generator, and that allows you to skip learning Solidity. It allows you to skip learning blockchain. So you could be a very simple or novice developer and deploy this payment scheme on chain and accept cryptocurrencies in various ways that your application needs to. And then if you think of that, if you think of that, like, you have like a Netflix or a Candy Crush, and they have very specific payment formats. And what this does is it essentially makes it easier for a mainstream developer like them to essentially deploy onto a blockchain and accept cryptocurrencies in a way that can be tied directly to their database, because they have sophisticated applications with user table, digital asset tables, analytics tables, etc. And you have to appeal to those needs for a blockchain to be real to those applications.
Yeah, somebody just said in the chat it could bring millions of apps onto the blockchain. One thing I want to
touch on, get that mainstream audience.
Yeah, well, that's the thing that people, I think, are missing the point here, in that, everybody's thinking decentralized and all that stuff. Like, this will work for D-apps and regular apps too, right? Like, it doesn't have to be a decentralized app to have this open API go in between it. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so it's really meant to bridge the gap between the early adopters and the mainstream, as well as making it spend cryptocurrency. So it's not actually just an asset like a stock. It's actually something that you can really get actual goods from. Not on the black market either.
I think I was muted for the last part because I always do this in every one of my live streams. I mute myself and forget, even though I have a giant button. But I was saying to the guys that it doesn't have to be a decentralized app. It can be any application, whether it's centralized or not, that can use the open API and everything. So, okay, you mentioned the scaffold. Let's talk about that. There are talks. Oh, no, actually, I want to talk about, it says in the white paper that you are compatible with any blockchain that supports smart contracts.
Yeah, in essence, if the way we built it open is that we knew and understood that every blockchain coming out up until to this day, or maybe in the short term, is going to have a smart contract element to it. But the beauty about what we did was we said, we knew that these blockchains were going to come out, and each of them would have their own communities, their own developers, their own essential applications. What we wanted to do was build something that's blockchain agnostic, but also cryptocurrency agnostic, meaning super, super developer friendly. So that you could, if you're an application developer, you can accept any cryptocurrency, you have your choice of blockchain, all that sort of stuff. But on the internal side, on the infrastructure side, something like Open could be developed for a Neo or a Tron or an R-chain or a future blockchain. And that inherently has many, many benefits, because if you have an API, I'm going to use this, sorry, there's nothing else here. I'm going to use this chalkboard eraser, paint eraser. But essentially, if you have all these kind of, let's say that this is the off-chain world, and this is the on-chain world. If you essentially have all these API connections connected to applications, very much like a PayPal or a Stripe, and here you have all these blockchains, you can essentially take all the developer relationships that are utilizing Open, and you could port all of those applications and all of their users onto all these existing blockchains, which is massive value for not only the application developer who gets an entire community of a blockchain, but the blockchain itself who gets a massive library of applications plus end users. And that's something we see that is super relevant, because you have a ton of blockchains that are spawning up. They look, act, smell the same. They're lacking developer communities, they're lacking applications, and this is something that Open, we feel, could really solve in a massive way.
So the goal basically is, you go somewhere, you go to whatever, Amazon, right? And you go to checkout, and your options are, your MasterCard, Visa, PayPal, and then there's Open right underneath it, right? That's the goal.
Absolutely, yeah.
Awesome. I just wanted to make people clear, like, that's the vision you guys are aiming for, right? It's a solution that'll allow anyone to pay with crypto.
Yeah,
right,
and then
go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, and it could even be like completely invisible to the user, because it is a back-end experience or tool for the developer. So an Amazon or a Netflix or whatever it is could literally just say pay with crypto using Netflix branding, have no identification of Open whatsoever, because I think that's what people are going to want. If you look again at the present day fiat systems, you have to really mimic that experience to get massive adoption. And that's kind of something that we understand. I mean, we've been looking at the Visas, the PayPals, how they scaled their customer relationships or their developer partner relationships. And you got to really base it on hard data at some point. And if you can design a system that very much looks like that, you might just get all that adoption. And that's something that we're really gunning for, and we're planning for, and we're designing for today.
Perfect. Okay, so let's talk about the scaffold. We touched on it a little bit. I've got the white paper up, and it kind of talks about how you have to open the scaffold and configure things. And then there's a staking of the Open tokens, right, to actually complete it or open it up. Is that right?
Yes. You're going to have to stake some Open token in order to be able to deploy it.
Do you know how many Open tokens it will take to open a scaffold, or is it dependent on different ones?
It's dependent.
It's dependent. We haven't really kind of come out with those parameters yet in terms of like how many it will take, or
It would be application centric, right? So certain applications that we've talked to, like integration partners, need one, some need a whole bunch. So it would really kind of be filtering back into that mechanism of how many to stake, how many to put out there.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about the wallets, because you guys have something called the Open Wallet, right? And then there's the developer wallet too. So I think in the white paper, I think the idea is for both sides, like the user and the dev, to use the Open Wallet. But like, how does that relationship work between the Open Wallet and the developer wallet?
Yeah, so I think those wallets we really provide to make the experience easier on both ends, because that's what we're all about at the end of the day, just to make it as easy as possible. The main distinction we see between an Open Wallet and a developer wallet is that the developer wallet will just have more features, like obviously public, that a developer would need. Something we're thinking about is attaching accounting tools for the data to be propagated the data about the application to be automatically propagated to the developer so they can rapidly iterate on top of their application and things like that. Features that perhaps your consumer-facing wallet won't need.
Okay, so on the open wallet topic of open wallet, this can store, how many cryptos can this actually store? Because I know it's built on the ohmygod SDK, right?
So I think it might have changed, but the most recent update I heard from ohmygod is that they can support up to 120 or 135 cryptocurrencies.
Holy wow! Okay.
I think that's a solid first step. Yeah.
So yeah, the way I just want to make it clear for people. So the way the transaction works is, the user pays from the open wallet, and really whatever crypto is supported by that SDK, then that's converted into the developer's wallet into whatever they choose, right? Like Ethereum, or can you even go to fiat, right?
No fiat, no, not yet. I think we were trying to stay away from being a kind of a money transmitter or anything like that. But
okay.
I know that ohmygod they are doing that.
I'm not as sure about
that. But us
okay. So you guys want to stay crypto to crypto then? Okay. No, that's fine. I wanted to make that distinction so that people knew. Okay. Let me just walk through my questions here. I want to try to get to the important stuff so we can get to the questions. People are saying there's some good questions coming up. So, when you open a scaffold, it says in the white paper that tokens are locked for a certain period so that people can't open and close them. Is the time period set per how many tokens you stake, or is it just a set, like 7 days, something like that?
I think at first, because when you start looking at an application platform, you got to collect early data points to then measure how to actually get that done. Because certain applications are going to behave entirely different from others. So it might be based entirely by volume or category of application. But that mechanism is, of course, anti-spam and fraud deterrence, of course. But I think what we might want to do is put some services in place where we can vet the application first. So we can kind of maybe reduce some of those security aspects that we built in. But initially, I think it's more of a design thing that frankly, I could say 4 days or 30 days today, but if it doesn't actually make fundamental sense to the developer, then why have it there, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
But
whereas if it makes sense in the platform and the developer aspect, then go for it. But I think you kind of approaching this as a startup with customer development. A customer development approach, you really got to figure out the early data points before you hard guideline those numbers.
Gotcha. Okay, so let me take a look here. Getting a little bit of echo of myself there, but
sorry.
Okay, just making sure. Okay, so that kind of leads into the developer growth pool. I want to talk about that, how you guys are going to onboard developers, because you can have the greatest system or app or program in the world, but if nobody's going to use it, it doesn't make sense. So you guys have an entire developer program ready and set up, and I've got the page up here on the screen, so maybe talk a little bit about the developer program and maybe a high level overview of how that works and how people can sign up. Are you still there? Can't hear you guys. I can see you, but I can't hear you. Looks like they might be lagging, or they might have disconnected. You guys are frozen. I can hear a little bit of you.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Starting
to
come back.
We were just going to text you.
Yeah, there you go. You're back now.
Okay, sweet.
Okay, so I was talking about the developer growth pool and kind of give us a high level overview of how that works and walk us through, well, not walk us through, but give us the idea of how the application process takes place.
Sure. So essentially, I keep talking. Sorry, guys. Chime in, but I'll just.
Easier than talking.
Sorry. Yeah, you guys go ahead.
You're much better at it than I am.
Okay. I wasn't completely agreeing with that, but in essence, what we have is a large developer growth program and growth pool that supports developers with distribution to developers and their end users to kickstart traction on their applications, but also to onboard and incentivize developers to develop for the blockchain. At the end of the day, for a revolution to occur, you have to be really smart about it. You really have to incentivize the developers. You have to incentivize the end user. And if you're in a position to do so as a platform, excellent. And that's kind of what we have in mind, right? It's a growth pool that essentially allows us to basically give developers support in the form of open token or other resources a good amount of our funds will also be heading toward that actual support and cause, not only to promote them and the platform, but also to drive end users to them. A typical example would be, we can just talk about an integration partner we have now. It's like a CryptoKitties decentralized application, and they're going to kick me for saying that, but it's essentially called Crypto Racing League. I think they're going to be launching in a week and a half. But in essence, we met them maybe a month and a half, 2 months ago, maybe actually, sorry, long before that. But in essence, we're able to kind of give them support, some consulting, some blah, 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 some of these resources. And we're able to kickstart some of the traffic that they need as a developer and traction that they need from the end user community. And that's something that we want to provide. And of course, it's not only open to decentralized app developers, but mainstream application developers as well. So if you have an application out there or you're thinking of an idea, please apply. We'd love to support you. We rip through a lot of different, in architectures and code bases, and we think we could add some value. So definitely, please look into Open's developer growth program.
Yeah, for sure. If anybody is interested, there's a big blue button here. You go to openfuture.io/developer-program. It tells you the benefits, etc. And there's a huge blue button here, request admission, and just fill that out, and the guys will get back to you. So, okay. One thing I wanted to talk about is for you guys take is it a 3% fee on every transaction through the scaffold that goes back in the developer growth pool, right?
Mm.
Okay, so let's say, I guess I'm trying to understand, why would, I guess somebody who maybe didn't get accepted by the open platform like process or wasn't able to get onboarded, they would have to go out to the secondary market and buy the tokens, right? Oh, did I lose you guys again? Okay, so yeah, I just want to make sure of that, because I guess it depends on the acceptance rate to the program, because some people are saying, don't you think that onboarding everybody and giving everybody free tokens might hurt the secondary market value? I don't know if you guys can sort of answer that or not, because it's getting into that gray area of the token value. But that's one of the biggest concerns that I had, was that people are saying, you guys are handing out tokens to onboard, which is the right thing to do, but the secondary market tokens might get hurt because of that.
Well, yeah, the token developer that would receive token it'd be in a really not a super scrutinizing process, but they'd obviously have a GitHub account or a code base to work with. They would look, act, and smell like a developer, and it would obviously there's a lot of things you could do to make both sides happy without saying anything we shouldn't say. But in essence, it's not like you're giving away things. It's more so that you're supporting them and you're making sure that they're aligned correctly. And that there are certain checks in place. There are pre-filters in place. Obviously, when CRL joined us, the code base was there. We were able to see it. They were able to share private GitHub and all that.
And I guess the idea is that when we distribute it out to the customers and the end users of our platform, they're not just gonna hold it and keep it. The idea is to encourage movement and velocity across our network. So they'll be interacting with it and transacting with it. And I think that's not only healthy for our project, but healthy for the entire blockchain ecosystem as a whole.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's why I wanted to bring it up, is because, you're not just going to hand out tokens to people and they're not just going to go to the exchange and say, well, that was easy, right? The idea is they use these tokens to open the scaffolds and actually use the product, right? So.
Yeah, and that's kind of the staking aspect too. It's just and it prevents stuff like that. But yeah,
exactly. Yeah, I just wanted to bring that up so people were clear that because that's one of the big criticisms that I see, is that, well, this developer pool is so big and everybody's going to get free tokens, but there are for specific reasons, and you have to be vetted to actually get access to the developer pool. Yeah, I figured. Okay, let's go to the competitor/comparable section here. And I always like to get you guys, and you guys have already kind of done this, but just kind of quickly go through the competitors that you see yourself competing against in the traditional space and the blockchain space.
Can you have a pretty excellent story for this, actually?
Which story?
With your application integration with the pay and difficulties.
Yeah, it's just we have our opinion of current existing vendors, like they're great. We don't want to like talk in any odd way about anyone that exists, but we find that the current existing tools aren't as, let's say, how do I put this in a nice way or a different way, is they're not solving the problem that we're solving. So a lot of people who truly understand the blockchain space they'll vet us, they'll run DD on us, due diligence on us, they'll ask great questions. But when they truly understand the project, they always say, okay, there's no one doing this right now, and there's no existing competitors because we're an entirely different thing. And I think a lot of people are thinking of a big name out there, but when you look at that solution and you really look at that solution in depth, it's not addressing a lot of the on-chain components. It's not enabling the wallet itself to speak, so to speak, the way we intend and want it to occur. It may not, or I shouldn't be talking in that framework or language, but a tool like Open would allow you to basically do anything with any crypto and utilize and appeal to any type of application, not just e-commerce.
Yeah, exactly. No, I wanted to ask that because, I mean, I said this in my review of you guys, so I'll say it. But one of the comparisons I always make is you guys are like Ripple, but actually decentralized. I know there's opinions around Ripple, but a lot of people are like, well, this is the Ripple of blah blah blah, and it's like, well, we're actually, we're more decentralized. Maybe. Yeah, just a little bit. All right, for the roadmap, what's the current stage of your guys' product? What would you call it? Like a alpha stage, beta stage?
We have some good news that we're kind of hoping to kind of share on this AMA, but essentially the scaffold, the core technology that we have is actually live today. Thanks to Dustin's been powering through, and he's got everyone. Half the team is not here, but some of them are in the back. And there's an event. I don't know if you guys have noticed. Some of them are there, but in essence, like the team has been gunning away, and there's this live scaffold tool right now. You can use it without knowing Solidity, and I'll let him take away. But
So right now there's you can go to api.openfuture.io. You can go and you can actually create a scaffold, and you can deploy it to the Ethereum Rigby testnet. And we're working on another piece here that we hope to have out like sometime next week. That's going to allow you to kind of integrate that in with like a React app. Then, so hopefully it's in the works right now. Next week or two, people actually will be able to like go to NPM as a way of being able to manage dependencies in a JavaScript application or a React application, and download that. Go create a scaffold, deploy it, and then be able to download this part, put it in an application, and just enter in their developer API key and start collecting payments. And then, we're really looking to kind of get some feedback and kind of from people that are using it, and kind of get some features that they would like added, and kind of be able to iterate on it and improve it.
To give you guys a quick like high level breakdown to add to that, you can essentially create a payment scaffold without knowing Solidity today at that address. And you can utilize it in your application. So that's a big component of our white paper. It's the scaffold in itself that people are excited about. It's live, so you can use it.
Yeah, I know what I'm doing when this AMA is over. I'm going to play with that for sure.
We're on a call this morning, and like someone's like, oh my, how come I haven't seen a project like this? And I can actually build this. I can give this to my developer. And I was like, you know what? Go on this link right now, and then let's just walk through this. And it was really funny. So today was like the first day that I got like live feedback from someone, and it's been cool.
That's amazing. Yeah, there you go, guys. api.openfuture.io. If you want to test it out. I know my tech guy right now is probably already there messing around with it. So, okay.
We might change the URL. Careful. We might change the URL just like we changed our name a couple times.
We're going to get to that because I think that's like one of the top questions. Okay, let me just see token sale and metrics. Let's just do this really quick. The hard cap's 30 million, right?
Yep.
30% is being sold to the public.
50.
Sorry, my bad. What happens to the unsold tokens?
20% is going to the team, 10% is going to platform partners, and then the other 20% is going to the developer growth pool.
Right. And what happens if there's unsold tokens? Do they get burned? Do they get locked away?
I think it looks like we might sell those in essence, but they.
I think we're going to airdrop them back to the community, or
there's plans for airdrops.
Okay.
We just don't want to say that publicly, but yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, too late. Have any or all of your smart contracts been audited?
So we had our initial token generation contracts audited by the Element Group.
Okay, perfect. All right, let's go to the community questions. We did kind of breeze through the earlier parts, guys, a little bit, but I want to get to the community questions to make sure that you guys have all the answers to your questions. Now, you'll see right at the top of the screen, go to menti.com/whatever's there. Actually, I should have probably put the code there too. Oh, well, too late. There's still lots of questions. We've got 26 questions in the queue. We probably won't get to them all. So if you see a question you like, you better hit the thumbs up so that it gets to the top. So, please don't do airdrop, baby. All right. Okay, first question. Let me just read this first. Oh, geez. Yeah, this whole Bitcoin Talk account thing, guys. I'm not going to bring that up. That's been cleared already. There's two sides to every story. That's all I'm going to say, guys. Okay, so here's a big one. Why was the hard cap increased from 18 to 30 million? Now, I believe you guys wrote a Medium article pretty much addressing that entirely, right?
Yep.
Okay, so I know it's probably not what you guys watching want to hear, but there is an entire article right here that was written a couple days ago that kind of addresses why the hard cap was increased, etc. So go ahead and give that a read. It's just on their Medium account, so just scroll to the bottom, go to Medium. It's the first article, just because I want to get to the other questions too. All right, next question. Why did you guys change your name 2 or 3 times from Open Money to Open Platform to Open Future? I don't think it's Open Future. That's just the link, but I'll let you guys answer that.
It's just the name Open it's like it really describes the ethos of what we wanted to bring to the blockchain industry. But if you also Google the word open, there's a million open blanks, so it's like the worst name for SEO and just being identified. And we might change it again, guys, just heads up. But in essence, we also wanted to reflect an ecosystem rather than the initial former name. And platform kind of fit that well because there's, we have a community aspect where we're supporting developers and application developers, and we're supporting people in the greater San Francisco, the greater blockchain local area in terms of like the developers that we know here in the space here. And we wanted something that was kind of core to our theme and entity in terms of the actual description of who we are. And these are kind of the reasons for some of these changes. Yeah, we
were so busy building initially, we didn't realize like the SEO aspect of the equation.
Yeah, to be honest, like, yeah, we know we're not perfect. Like, we'll say it right away. We'll accept it. We'll own it. But in essence, like, when you're busy building something that you believe in, it's like, these things are the name of what you're doing. Open is great, but the name that follows Open, I think, it's not too super high value for us.
Yeah, it's not that high on the list,
at this
right?
moment.
Nope, that's completely understandable. I don't think it's a huge deal, but I can understand where there's confusion, right? So this opens the door for a nice rebrand later down the road. Please don't change your name again, baby. This gas trader guy in my chat, I don't know, he's like a real troll or something. Does this really need a token is the next question. I'll let you guys answer that one.
Sure, yeah, of course. Definitely needs a token. If you just look at, just look at the developer growth pool, for instance. If there are platforms out there that are going to support, that are just going to support developers in a really effective way, a token event or token generation event has to occur. I can't just buy 20% of the supply of Ethereum right now because it would cost billions of dollars. So if you really want to support the developer, the checkbox is really clear. Also, just the idea, if you read through the white paper, it clearly goes into those reasons. In addition, some of them are pretty obvious, but like that's the first and foremost thing that we find a lot of people love about our platform is just that developer support in itself, what are you going to do if it's not created allocation? And if you're a network or protocol platform and you are fixing bounties that were created, those are finite. You're going to have issues with them.
I don't want to bog down with too much technical information, so please do refer to the white paper, but a core aspect of the token has to do with security. And there are several security vulnerabilities that we solve by introducing our own token.
There you go, guys. Yeah, there is a section in the white paper. I've read it about security, so.
Pretty clear.
All right, next question. Oh, I'm getting feedback on myself there, guys.
Sorry.
All right. I don't like to hear my voice as much as people might think that, so.
I'm sorry.
No, it's all right.
Is it?
It's all right. I think it's better now. Okay. Someone wants to know if you guys have filed with the SEC.
We don't know how to answer that question.
Yeah.
I'm just going to leave that with blank because that just, we don't really know how to answer that question.
That's fine. That's fine. Let's see this next one. Okay, I don't know what that question was going after. In what country and state/jurisdiction is Open Platform incorporated?
I'd like to also stay away from that question as well. These are good legal questions, but I think like having a lawyer answer those questions would be better.
Okay, so people can
just kind of kick us if we answer them.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. People can probably go into the Telegram and get an answer, I assume, eventually, correct?
We'll have a legally audited Medium post to answer these questions.
Okay, yep, that's perfect. All right. Is Open Platform a security? No, guys. I can answer that one. There's no chance. It's an actual utility token. You required it for the utility of opening a scaffold. Anything you guys want to add on your end?
Yeah, just like if you want to deploy an application, you deploy a scaffold, right? So in essence, like your entire application payment scheme mechanism and the actual deploying of your application requires a scaffold with Open, and it's pretty obvious.
I think compared to the whole ecosystem, our token is actually like provides much more utility than comparable projects.
Yeah, that's literally what I was going to say, is that a lot of tokens claim they're a utility token, but to me, Open is one of the rare few that are actually a utility token. I would not label this a security in any way, not even close, personally. Okay. Skip that one. Did you guys already have a private sale ban in September? I'm not sure if that's a typo. I'm not sure. Did you guys have you guys had a private sale back in September? Or maybe that was back in September.
Yes, we did a small private sale, just something to support Open back then. Yep, we did.
Yep. Yeah, that's nothing out of the ordinary, guys. That happens all the time in the crypto world. Next question is it really that hard for someone already capable of building an app to begin with to introduce crypto payments? Have you tried learning Solidity, my friend? I'll let you guys comment on that one.
So there's a variety of other issues. The reason we try to stay blockchain agnostic is because not only would someone have to learn how to use Solidity, they would have to learn a variety of other smart contract languages. They would have to get those smart contracts vetted to make sure there's no risk with security. It's a huge obstacle to entry. So yes, there are people who can do this on their own, but if you want to get the blockchain into the mainstream audience, you have to make it incredibly easy for them to integrate.
And then also just like sorry.
Oh no. I mean, I personally have gone through this of having been a full stack developer and been into crypto and wanting to learn how to build decentralized apps and wanting how to learn Ethereum and Solidity. It took a lot of time, and it was it took a lot of time studying after my job out and working on things, and it's like you don't really want to go through that. And I think that the vast majority of people probably don't want to build a decentralized LinkedIn or whatever. They just want to be able to take some payments, and they want to be able to collect some Ethereum, or they want to collect whatever crypto they're into. And so this is really meant to just kind of make it so that you can do that in a quick way. Like you could do this in, I think that by the time that everything's all set up, it's going to be like a 10-minute process before you could go deploy a scaffold, put something into your application, to put in your developer API key, and boom, you're ready to go. And you're, collecting
10
payments.
minutes.
That's the way. That's because every person that I talk to, like my mom, is like, well, where can I use this at? They want to know, like, how can you actually collect payments? And like, that's not out there right now. There's a lot that goes into actually writing the contract, figuring out how do you compile it, deploy it. Like most people, I have probably 100 developer friends, and a lot of them are like, they're heard of Solidity, they're into blockchain stuff, but they're just like haven't taken the time to actually learn it and actually.
Yeah, and I'll approach it from a non-Solidity standpoint. Just like look at the API economy, guys. Over the last 8 years in the tech world, you've had SendGrid, Stripe, Twilio, and these are APIs that simplify things that you as a developer can do on your own, but they simplify it for convenience sake. They make it super easy to access so many different features. So something like the Open API could do payments today, distribution tomorrow, XYZ, all by accessing one API. And that's where a lot of these companies, like some of the Twilio and SendGrid, are now public companies that service giant unicorn startups. They're real deal Validity. They're not just appealing to the native and individual or small developer. They're dealing with the Ubers, the X's of the world. And then on top of that, you also have to look at the ecosystem. If our chain comes out with its own Rolang-based smart contract, it's not Solidity. So now you have another hurdle. Your application, are you going to go retrofit into Solidity? And if Solidity doesn't function the way you think it does, what are you going to do? On top of that, if you don't want to use Solidity and you want to use something like Python, you could use an API for that. But without any of that there, none of this exists. So if you look at all those different steps, those are giant value add steps in my mind as an application developer.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's not just Solidity. It's going to be every different type of blockchain, and like we're going to figure out that and how to take care of that. And once you create the scaffold, then you're going to be able to deploy to any of the different blockchains you want to. And so there's a huge learning curve on each one of those, and this is going to be just push of a button.
Yeah, it's not just Solidity. I mean, if you want to, every different blockchain, new blockchain is going to have all their own languages. It's insane the amount of time this would save, guys. Like 10 minutes versus hundreds of hours probably learning all that code. I mean, people can do it. That's fine. And I joke about this all the time, right? This is basically giving a use case to all the cryptocurrencies out there, right? Now they can use this be used as a payment function, right? All those random cryptos that are good for nothing, literally. Now you can pay with them.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the next question. But that was a good one. All right. Already about the private sale. We asked about that. I'm not sure if you can share the numbers, but how many developers have actually signed up and confirmed to use the platform? Probably through the developer growth pool, I'd imagine, right? Do you guys have numbers on how many people have requested admission?
We've had a couple really interesting application inquiries in the developer growth pool. I myself haven't had a very recent look at it, but we are dealing with a handful of inbound application requests. Think enterprise, think fintech, think gaming, and decentralized gaming as well. So far it's across the gamut. We have like a potential that's in a completely left field jurisdiction. We had one potentially this morning. Like it's interesting. We've had like a gaming company. I'm not going to say who, but it's like a 50 or 80 person. Like it's interesting. It's been really cool. That was all like prior to like. The former of what I was mentioning was prior to most of our announcement of this developer program, and the latter was, over the last week and a half alone, just based on the announcement. So if you just look at, and we don't do the best job in marketing ourselves, but I think once we kind of get the trumpet out there that can help us spread the message, we're going to be looking for some interesting news. Yeah.
I think they're going to be coming fast and furious once people realize the potential. Personally, anyway. All right, let's see. Oh, okay, this is a pretty decent question. Do you have plans to ever reduce the 3% transaction fee You're comparing yourselves to Stripe, who charge 1.75%. That's a good question. Do you ever have plans to lower that 3% back to the developer pool?
Yeah, effectively, if our developer pool doesn't need a refuel, it's just distributed back as an airdrop. We don't even, there's effectively no 3% at that point. And then also, like, I don't know if you want to go in touch with what you like to talk about in general. But,
yeah, it's almost a misnomer to call it a fee, because it's not like a revenue for the open platform itself. It's really just for the network and for the community. So if we do ever exist, if we do ever have excess tokens, we don't keep it, we give it back. That effectively reduces, as Ken was saying, the transaction fee to a lower amount.
And not only that, like P was saying, like it's not for profit fee, and it really essentially just goes back to the developer growth pool.
Exactly.
And if
this does not go to you guys whatsoever, right? Like this, people need to understand. This does not go to the team. It doesn't go anywhere but back in the pool, which is given out to developers anyway. So it's literally not any profit whatsoever.
Exactly. So and then like also not only the developer, but to their users as well.
So yeah,
that's
it's
why
meant
it's a
to
developer
make
growth pool.
the platform better for that.
Yeah, think of it like we need a way to incentivize the end user who's going to use. I'm going to use this as a fictitious example, but Netflix fiat or a Netflix crypto. Again, disclaimer, fictitious. But in essence, if you can give them more value by paying with cryptocurrency, you as cryptocurrency and blockchain enthusiasts will win that war. You'll start that revolution, and that's what we're trying to do.
Awesome. Yep. That's why I like you guys. People, yeah, I'm going to be called a shiller, but I don't care. You guys, seriously, people are really misjudging the scale of this project. Like, on orders of magnitude, it's going to be insane, in my opinion. So, all right, about 10 more minutes of questions, guys. They do have to go. We had to keep it about an hour. I'm getting low on the thumbs up questions, so take a look and thumbs up the ones you guys like, because we're only probably going to get about 4 or 5 more, maybe. Let's get to the next one, though. Oh, when is the crowd sale? Good question.
It should be. I think it depends on like our plans with the private sale aspect. It's going to take a little bit. We're trying to really slow things down and accept developers into that, because our tokens are not really for anything other than developer use and developer application use. So right now we're really waiting around for more and more developers to get interest into the program and into the platform, because that's essentially what it's built for.
So no set date yet. All right. Oh, okay. Who is Kunal Arya? Hopefully I'm saying that name right. Why did he suddenly leave the team before launch? I'm not sure if you guys can touch on that one.
We still technically haven't launched, and we made a number of roster changes. Like we've made a lot of roster changes for the benefit of the team and just productivity and all that. Like we're still very good friends with a lot of these different groups and different people who've joined and left early on. It's just, I mean, we're here till 2 a.m. and like it's, it takes a lot of hard work, and some people like, it's if you're building a project that is, let's say, not open and doesn't require that much, gusto, we can, that would speak for itself. But generally, it's just like fit. We have people joining on. We have some more people that we're adding to that roster. Our full team is not even there online. That they deserve credit. They're probably watching this. Yeah.
I think that's what people don't realize, right? You guys literally went to one blockchain conference, right? The Miami conference, and then it just exploded. That's kind of how a lot of these good projects go, right? It goes from completely under the radar to like, bam, explosion. And
we would love to touch on that. Like we had no idea that we were going to start this quick. Like we started this project a long time ago, way before ICO summer or whatever it is. In essence, like we wanted to kind of build something on our timeline. But when we kind of got the word out at the Blockchain Connect conference that me and P were attending, it just like within 48 hours, we had, within 72 hours, we had a giant deal of interest. And it's like, whoa, slow down, guys. Like our numbers aren't even right. This is not even right. It's like, slow down. Like, we're working on the technology. versus, what standard companies do is they focus on the raise. We're a startup at the end of the day, and things are going to change. We're not going to be ready for a lot of things. So I know the community is super hard pressed on these projects, but when there's a lot of vetting going on already, we just want to we're pretty comfortable where we are. It's just more so we got to focus on what we got to do to make this our vision. And our vision isn't small. Our vision is really big. And therefore, when you're going after a big vision, you have to treat it like a serious project and a serious startup. Your team has got to be extremely sound. Your project's got to be sound. Your integration partners have to be sound. Your technology has to be sound. So, I mean, not saying that any project is ever going to be perfect. There's a disclaimer right now. It's a startup at the end of the day. Treat it like a startup at the end of the day.
For sure. Okay, so there's a question here. I don't know if you guys can answer this one, because this was, I'm assuming, like a private sale, but it might have been like a seed round or something. But people are asking, if what you raised in September and October, they're wondering how much, price per token, and if there's lockups, right? Because people are worried about getting dumped on, which I would assume there would be, but I'll let you guys if you can answer any of that.
Yeah. So in terms of specific questions, the question was how much received. Yeah, I think it's pretty public. So it's still there. It hasn't been touched. It'll be flipped. I know the concern. I think it'll be flipped right into this sale. So all of them will be taken care of. Of course, that's something that we're not going to ignore people. It's pretty obvious that everyone will be taken care of that way. And then in terms of flipping and all that and that sentiment, again, guys, we're really focused towards developers, and we understand that there's this theme and nature of speculation and all that. It's there. We're cautious and aware of it. We definitely do not want to harm anyone who's supporting the project, indirectly or directly. So please understand we're aware of that theme, and as much as we can publicly comment on it, it's just something that it happens. It's kind of part of the ecosystem today.
And that's the major reason that we're trying to have people who want to build on the platform, like developers. We're trying to get people in the sale who actually believe in the project, who want to integrate with the project. And so that's a major focus for the vision.
Okay, perfect. Okay, I want to quickly just ask a question myself. The team tokens, are they vested over a certain period of time?
Yep. Yep, they are.
Okay, do you know the time? Is it like a year, 2 years?
It's it's pretty it's still a data point that is being finalized in different areas. The real reason why is I know we can't comment on that stuff publicly.
Okay, yeah, that's okay then.
Yeah, there's stuff there in place, but yeah, we're
I don't
definitely
want to get you guys into any trouble. As long as there is vesting. Okay, I think we'll do 2 more questions here. Somebody's asking, it looks like multiple team members still work on other projects. How many of you are full-time in Open?
I think we always we get that, and we're always asking which team members.
Yeah, this is the first I've heard of that.
Yeah.
They're all full time, yeah.
Okay, someone's asking if you guys have a public GitHub.
Yes.
I don't think it's public though. I don't. Any of your stuff
the repo is private though.
Yeah.
For right now.
Okay.
The npm module will be public. So, but for right now, all the backend stuff, just all the stuff that's out right now, everything that's going on to the website is in a private repo.
And I think people miss the point too, right? They think that a GitHub is the savior.
Yeah, it's not.
Guys, there's an MVP out there. You can kind of there's videos out there of our platform, and we'll be launching a scaffold. The scaffold's out there today, and we'll probably have follow-up videos explaining it. If you just look at what's there, it's more than just GitHub code that a lot of these projects will advertise. It's there today. It's ready to go.
It's right here, guys. api.openfuture.io. That's all you need to look at. That's enough of an MVP for me. So someone's asking how to contact you, how can interested developers. I can answer that. You can go to openfuture.io/developer-program. Read through that, and there's a requested mission at the bottom, and that should do the trick for you. All right, let me see if we have any more interesting question, guys, and then I'll let you get to what you need to get to. pretty much covered everything. All right. Yeah, it looks good. All right. I'm going to give you guys a chance to make a closing statement now. Say whatever you like to the people watching now and in the future, and then I will let you guys go.
Awesome. Just for me, it's thank you guys. Like, I know we can't get to all the questions and requests and all that. So just, bear with us. Like, a lot of what we're doing is actually just working like mad. So wanted to say thank you for following the project. Thank you for tuning in. That's huge. It means a lot to us. Thank you for the messages. Like we received some really cool messages from people like supporting the project, just saying, hey, like we understand like the problems in the space right now, and like it takes a lot to kind of put this in place. It takes, it's not as easy as people seem as doing a blockchain project is. It requires resources at the end of the day. And when you see how long we've been working at something like this consistently, and we do a lot of talks in person and at local events. He did one on Saturday, I did one on Saturday. We were supposed to do one over here, but like it's just like, guys, like we appreciate the support, and like it goes a long way. Those positive comments go a long way. So thank you. We appreciate it.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, guys. I know you have something to get to, so I'll let you get to that. Thanks for stopping by. And for the people watching, I'll just catch up with you after we let these guys go.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Thank you.
See ya.
Take care, guys. All right. Go ahead and disconnect there, guys. All right. Perfect. I know the AMA I did yesterday, I forgot to get them to disconnect, so. All right, let me take a look. I know there was some comments I wanted to touch on that I saw that a little bit interesting to me. Okay, I can't discuss how long the team's tokens are vested for. Again, this is just due to the fact that they didn't expect this, right? They literally went to the Bitcoin Miami conference and it just exploded. So these are the things they're still working out with legal. I have full confidence that they'll come through with a solid vesting. 2 years, hopefully, at least 12 months. I'm positive they'll be fine in that. Yeah, 2 sides to every story. I'm not sure what that comment was supposed to be. Also, there was a comment about why was there a disclaimer saying I'm not reimbursed for this video. I didn't get anything. I didn't get any crypto. I didn't get any fiat. I had no idea they were going to put a bounty for commenting and liking on my videos. I had no idea that was going to happen. I appreciate it, but that was never part of the plan. So, as always, I don't get paid anything for this. I do this for projects I like and want to help get the word out, because sometimes white papers are too technical. They said it themselves. They're not marketers, right? So that's where they come to us to help get the message across. Yeah, nobody is going to release the information about their seed round. Name me one crypto ICO that named their seed round information. I can't think of one. That's private investments. They'll never give those numbers out. Yeah, we've already dealt with the Bitcoin Talk account. There are 2 sides to every story. You're not telling the whole side of the story, so I'm not going to give it the light of day. Oh, I didn't ask about the post-ICO marketing strategy. Yeah, we were in a bit of a time crunch, so I apologize for that. I think that's going to do it, guys. About 60 minutes. They had something they had to get to, otherwise I would have kind of went a little more in depth. But as you can see, I really like this project. I really like what they're doing. Nobody else is really doing something like this, so I'm pretty bullish on it myself. I appreciate you guys stopping by and taking the time. Take care out there. I'll see you.